I just really want you all to pay attention to and get something planned for the eclipse that we have coming up on the 14th of October. Okay, it is a solar eclipse, it is a new moon, and we are going to be having another eclipse at the end of October on the 28th. But I wanted to talk about the 14th of October eclipse, which that's on a Saturday. It's the last day of our shopping bazaar too, and our vendor market that we're going to have. But it's kind of a big deal. Okay, so I want you to not necessarily be forewarned, but I want you to be prepared so that you can kind of get something lined up for the eclipse that is coming on the 14th. Okay. And so a solar eclipse, of course, is different than a lunar eclipse, right? The solar eclipse would be, during the daytime. It appears that the sun is darkening, being covered by the shadow, and then, it reveals itself again. Now, we will not actually be able to see the eclipse here in East Tennessee, but of course, depending on where you are, it is going to be visible in some parts of North America and then other parts of the world as well. But as we talked about in last week's live, talking about the energies of eclipses in general, it is kind of like a sped up process of energy. So there can be kind of things that maybe would normally take a while to manifest or to happen or whatever. It can happen like just in a mere few hours. It's just a very powerful energy. And this is a ring of fire eclipse. So meaning in the parts of the world where the eclipse is actually visible, the shadow doesn't completely obscure the sun. So there will just be like this glowing, what looks like a ring of fire right around the edge of the sun. And it's very beautiful, you can watch the eclipse live, I think NASA streams it and like different things as well. But it's a beautiful occurrence, but it does have like an intense energy, right? A fiery energy. And the new moon and the eclipse, are all happening in Libra, which is an air sign. And I always like to think of course, the alchemy of the elements, air, Libra, and then this fiery energy, the ring of fire of the eclipse. Of course, we're still kind of working with and dealing with the North and South node kind of shifting into Aries where it had been in Libra a while back. So there's just a lot of things that can be culminating with this eclipse starting. But of course, sometimes in order for something to start, we have to have an ending. We have to be like, that's done. That chapter is done. Like literally, maybe the whole book is done. I'm like tossing the book. I'm putting it back on the shelf. And then so that new energy can come in, right? We don't want to have the energetic pipeline just blocked with like old energy. So this eclipse is going to be kind of like this this heavy push for change, and good change as well. There could be some surprises. Eclipses also reveal, right? There's a revealing energy because it is maybe something is shrouded in shadow, shrouded in darkness for a little bit, but then, oh, well, here comes the sun's light again to illuminate that. So it's a very, very potent, energetic time. And of course, since we are kind of coming out of retrograde season, I mean, Venus is direct now, Mercury's direct, Pluto's going to be going direct, I think on the 10th. So the big kind of, the beginning of next week. It's just like all of a sudden it's like, okay, the energy is now moving forward. It's not slow. It's not just kind of hemming and hawing over, ruminating over the past. We are like moving into that energy of moving forward. And the eclipse is like, here, let me give this a little push, right? So what kinds of things can you do with eclipse energy? And now there are some magical practitioners that say, oh, don't do anything on an eclipse. It's like bad luck, or don't charge your crystals. And we talked about this a bit during last week's live, but I am all about, yes, use this energy, capture some of this energy, make some eclipse water, charge certain crystals that you would want to use with this revealing energy, with this kind of also accelerated timeline of energy, and you can kind of tap into it at a later time. But do not, please, do not feel dissuaded from working with the eclipse energy because it is very powerful and it is very potent. So you, of course, can do any kind of meditation work, taking a magical or spiritual bath with certain crystals, with certain intentions. And especially for us, since we're not going to be able to actually physically see the eclipse, you could even do something where you maybe, if you're able to be at home during this time, you could kind of like darken the room, pull the curtains, and then as the energy, kind of moves along with the eclipse, you could kind of slowly move your curtains back open just to kind of mimic that energy. We are animals after all. We do register things like light, in our brains. It means something to us on a very primal level. Of course, doing any kind of candle work would be appropriate as well. You might also want to, of course, set intentions with a situation that is shrouded in that mystery, is shrouded in confusion. You don't know like what's going on, and you feel like something needs to be revealed or released, right? So this eclipse can be really, really fantastic for that. And of course, everybody has their own magical practices. They have their own techniques and tools that work best for them. But whether you work with crystals, whether you work with candles, or even doing like a simmer pot, with herbs, and of course, we got this fiery energy. So you could do things like cinnamon and basil would be fantastic for, bringing in like positive energy as well, kind of letting that almost like supersede, anything negative that is kind of lingering. And then of course, Venus rules Libra, right? And so if you're wanting to kind of provide a bit of a buffer for like self-care and nurturing, if this feels like a little bit of a tumultuous time, or you're feeling like, oh gosh, I know that there are things or situations that I need to let go of, but I'm having a hard time feeling safe in like letting that go or confident in that. Do like heart nurturing aromas or herbs. Of course, like rose is fantastic. Basil is another one. Basil is a fantastic heart chakra herb. You of course could use essential oils as well, but maybe a little bit of just like rose and some pink Himalayan salt might be really nice as well, just to be nurturing and clearing and supportive if you're needing to have that help kind of moving through this energy. So I really think that it would be beneficial for you all to take advantage of this energy that is coming in. It's like, I mean, eclipses happen. This is our annular solar eclipse, but there's just a lot of really, like I said earlier, like potent energies that it would be kind of sad to just miss out on that, to not really like take advantage of this time. And since we focus so much on relationships, our relationship with self, our priorities, our sense of value and worth, but then also relationships with others, whether they were friendships, they were like business partnerships, they were romantic relationships. And we dealt with so much of review during the retrograde season, that started back a couple months ago, and Venus being in retrograde and then Mercury going retrograde, and, just really taking the hard look at what we used to do, where we're at now, where we'd like to be going, and kind of do that inventory and check of what things are no longer serving me, and for my highest good. And there were a lot of breakups and shakeups. There were a lot of changes that I know a lot of us went through. But we know it's for the better, but it's almost like we're on the other side of that, but it may have not completely like sunken in yet. You just may be like almost kind of reeling, or just like, whoa, what's this new life like, and of course, if you were a bit reluctant to that change, those adjustments in your relationships, then you may be holding on to energy that is old energy. It's energy that is really run its course, but it's like it's not effective or efficient to continue to move in that energy any longer. and it's like actually not, it's not supporting you at all. It's almost like neutral. It's there, just taking up space. It's dead weight. So you're already stepping into that new energy. You're already on this new leg of your journey, and it's just time to maybe sometimes realize, like, why am I still carrying this baggage? Like, I'm said I was done with that, right? Or it said it was done with me, or whatever. This higher vibrational path, how it presented itself, how it needed to present itself to you. And so, like I said, we are going to have the solar eclipse on the 14th of October. Definitely take advantage of it. Work with those energies. If you're like, oh, well, I don't know what to do, like, I don't know what kind of working to do or what kind of intentions to set, a simple intention can be to become in alignment with your highest good. It can be just to, release what no longer serves you, and to step into your full power, to step into your, just the manifested highest version of you. That will never ever be a wrong choice. So it's a very, powerful intention, and it's very simple, but it aligns with your highest good. And who wouldn't want to align with that, right? But then, like I said earlier, we do have the lunar eclipse, and that will be during the full moon on the 28th of October. And so that is coming up, in 2 weeks after the 14th of October, we'll have another eclipse in the evening. Sorry, Instagram, I paused because my phone is low. But we will have another opportunity for eclipse energy then, and that eclipse, that will be in the energy of Taurus. So like I've mentioned this in the last live, but if you didn't catch it, Venus rules Taurus, and it rules Libra. So we're, anything that relates to love, our sense of beauty, our sense of self, our sense of companionship, what we find appealing, what we find attractive, what we want to, surround ourselves with, all of that. Like, this is just like, oh, you didn't get it through the retrogrades, or oh, you're still processing through it. Cool. Well, now it's time to move forward with this new information, right? So, like, come on, like, get excited about it. Don't just do whatever you want, right? But it would be really, really fantastic just to keep using this energy that is being really gifted to us. Oh wow, my light. My light overhead just like did this thing. That's really strange. So anyway, all of a sudden I'm really bright. It's like my light did a magical eclipse. That's hilarious. So we will talk more next week about the lunar eclipse that will be coming up on the 28th, because I also want to give you guys a chance to plan for that as well. And of course, next Wednesday will still be before the solar eclipse that we have on Saturday. So we'll go over that a little bit more. Might do some card pulls for you live as well. But I just really wanted to give you time to kind of think about it. You can journal, you can brainstorm, you can do some, maybe readings for yourself, just to kind of tune into like, okay, like, what is really a good approach? Kind of what do I want to tackle, or what do I want to focus on with this energy that's coming in? So don't put it off, like, do something with this. And I know that all of you are in different stages of your journey and you have different practices, but it's always like really unfortunate if you're just like, oh yeah, I kind of saw on, blah, 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 whatever online, or heard somebody say that, eclipse season is coming, or whatever, or there's a full moon, whatever the astrological event is, let's say. And then you're like, you get busy with your life and get distracted and stuff. And then you're like, oh no, it was yesterday. I didn't do anything for it, And it's just like, when you pay attention to the calendar, when you pay attention to your almanac, or, do a little research, listen to the lives that we do, whatever it is, stay abreast on like what is coming down the pipeline, because when you can not only kind of anticipate and plan, but maximize your alignment with those energies, it's really, really going to be helpful. And you'll notice as you're in more of an energy of anticipation and planning on these energies that are coming in, because, you know, like clockwork, I mean, it's going to happen, right? Then you are aligning with those energies as well. You know, you're not blindsided. You know, you're not just like, why am I going through this? Why am I feeling this way? It's like, you know, you kind of know. So you can go, oh, okay, like, you know, this is the energy that is, you know, kind of really affecting all of us right now. So it might not even just be your reaction, but it could be other people's reactions and interactions too. So it's not preparing for the worst by any means, but it can help you problem solve and will always help you, like I said, maximize your connection to these energies and help you live your best life. So if anybody has any questions, you are welcome to ask them at this time. Donna says, thank you. You are, of course, welcome. I'm always happy to share this information. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to ask, and we can address those before we end. Super quick live, under 20 minutes so far. All right, I do not see any questions on either platform, but like I said, when we started this video, I do have a tarot, or not tarot, I always want to say tarot, an oracle reading that I did for you all just a few hours ago. It should be uploaded onto YouTube by now. The YouTube channel is Inner Perfect 1111, and you can go check that out. It is pinned in the comments here on Facebook, and then I'll put it in the comments when the live is done on the replay for you all as well. And that way you can get a little bit of intuitive insight as well. And of course, I know what the reading was because I already did it, but I think it is very timely and very pertinent for this eclipse that is coming up as well. So thank you so much for joining me this evening, and I hope you all have a good rest of your week. Hope y'all have a good night, and I will see you all on the flip side. Bye-bye.